This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. Delighted to have MMA's Savannah Marshall with me. We can say that after Saturday's debut. Savannah, thanks for giving me some of your time today. How's things?
I'm good. I'm really good. Bit tired, but no, I'm great.
We've got to throw in a congratulations on the successful debut. Before we talk about the technical stuff, all in, how would you rate your first professional experience in the cage?
I think I'm not disappointed, but I think that the main thing that I was disappointed with was I'd worked so hard on changing my boxing stance to suit MMA, and then as soon as like the bell went and it straight away she flew at me and swiped me. It's like I resorted back to boxing, like what I knew. What I was really happy with was like I'd really worked hard on getting up off the floor, and that come off a few times. So um, for a debut, I got a win. So what is 6, 7 out of 10?
Well, it was a full-on entrance, like you said, multiple takedowns, leg kicks. So the MMA ability was put to the test right away. I guess that's a good thing because we all know you can punch. Everyone that you'll fight will know you can punch. So perhaps almost a bit of justification to yourself to kind of go through a couple of moments that were perhaps a bit hairy and come out the other side victorious.
Yeah, 100%. I think that anyone who I come up against is gonna aim for me legs, and they're gonna kick me front leg. They're gonna try and take me down. So really, it's really kind of what I expected.
Are they as painful as they look? Leg kicks. They look horrific.
No, it wasn't more. It wasn't when I was in there. Do you know what caught me off? The pace. So like obviously in boxing, you can go out there, you have a look, you feel your range, you get your jab going. About 3 rounds in, the pace picks up. But I was told before I went in there that the pace is a lot different from boxing and they start really fast. And that's what threw me off. The pace was just, even when I got out, I remember like coming out and thinking, what on earth has just happened there? It was like I didn't have a second to think at all. It was just, bam, I'm on the floor, get back up. Oh, she's coming at me again. I'm on the floor. She's got me angle. Oh, she's got me in a choke. It was just so intense.
Yeah, well, considering I think it was about 4.5 minutes that you were in there for in round one, you're used to 2-minute rounds. So for it to feel quick and yet you've done a longer round than you'd ever done in a professional boxing ring, quite strange. So it didn't feel like 4.5 minutes then.
No, to be honest, it wasn't the time that like it was just the pace. Obviously I was fit, I was ready for it. But I remember thinking I got like takedowns override punches. So I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm losing this round. Going and then I was thinking like I'm a round down, I've only got two left to claw it back. And then I thought I seen that I'd hurt and I just thinking just finish it. Ref, just jump in, just jump in.
What's the most difficult part of the groundwork, would you say? Because obviously I come from a boxing background and I know a lot of people watching this will be boxing fans who would have crossed over to watch your debut. So for people who kind of don't understand too much about the ground stuff, what would you say is the real difficult aspect of when someone is just kind of on top of you in that situation?
To be honest, I don't mind the groundwork out of it all. I think that's what I like the groundwork. And I felt quite strong on the floor. Like I said, I was able to get up, get out of that head and arm choke. The thing that for me, obviously, I'm not used to looking at gloves. So obviously, the kicking's a bit the distance. Like you think you're out of range with the hands, but you're not with the legs. And also, it's nice to have little gloves on, but even for your opponent to have little gloves on, you're getting that less of a second to see them because they're so small. So that was another thing that like it's nice having them on, but you're taking them as well.
Yeah, that's interesting about you kind of saying seeing the gloves and obviously what you're used to. I was going to ask as my next question. It was the striking that was too much for Vargas in the end. You must love punching someone in something a bit smaller though, because we've seen you put people away with the big gloves on. Now you've got, I'm not going to say nothing, but you ain't got much protection here. So you must enjoy the fact that when you let your hands go, someone's going to be feeling it.
That's what I mean. Thank God I could punch because Jesus, she just do you know shit. Do you know what as well? That was not the girl who I've just studied for like 3 months. I'm telling you, she bloody turned up, and she was the best version of herself. Because Jesus Christ,
You're going to get that. I
I
think
was
the
like,
name Savannah
who is
Marshall,
this woman?
the
Who
name
is this
Savannah
woman?
Marshall, you're going to get people turning up, and you're going to be one that they want to be. That's what's going to happen now.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, I take my hat off to anyone who goes in that cage because I don't know if it's because I've done boxing for so long, but for me, it's literally having a fight, and you've got to flick the fight or flight switch. It's literally kill or be killed. That is how I've like analysed that. It reminds me of like when your life is literally on the line and you're having to like I said, it's kill or be killed. That's how I've just analysed that 4.5 minutes for me.
It is a brutal sport, a brutal watch, and there were some good fights on that card as well. I will talk a bit more about Tom Aspinall in a second, but I just want to go over something I saw him say after the fight. He called it one of the most exciting fights he had ever seen. Obviously, winning is what you want. But how highly do you put entertainment levels when it comes to importance? Like, where does it rank for you? Are you one who every time you go in, it's really right up there in importance levels that you deliver entertainment for the fans? Or is it just like, I need to get out there and win?
Well, I think that look, someone close to me said, "Look, you probably could have went out there and knocked her out in 10 seconds, but everyone knows you can punch. Everyone knows you can, you know how to box." And fair enough, that's all I really did in there. But I think people were interested in how I was going to see, do you know, my first leg kick. And she swiped me and I went on the deck. And honest to God, I looked up and she just went and knee me in the head and she missed me head about that much. And I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, she just nearly kneed me in the face. And then the next thing I'm up on my feet and she took me down again. It like I said, it was entertaining because I think people might have thought, look, she's just going to go out there, little gloves, whack whack, and knock someone out, and really, that wasn't the case.
Just talking about Tom and the team you've assembled, what have you been able to take from them guys? 'Cause obviously, you were walking into a new discipline. Even the casual mixed martial arts fans and those crossing over will recognise Tom. That kind of team you've assembled, what have you been able to take from them over the last weeks, months?
Obviously, Andy Aspinall's a very BJJ base, so it's what really and I needed because anyone's going to take me down. Anyone with a brain's going to think, oh, she's a striker, let's just take her down. And I think that showed because look, I have been able to in 9 months. I've gained the skills to be able to get up off the floor. Um, and that's really benefited me. Also, Tom's boxed before, so sometimes when I've been in the gym and saying this works, that doesn't work, he knows where I'm coming from because he has boxed before and he's been in the ring and he understands about changing the stance and that type of thing.
Yeah. And as for the boxing team, what was Peter's assessment of Saturday night?
When my dad got in the cage and first thing he said to Peter, he shouted, "Oh, Peter, I don't like this man, too violent for me." And Peter was like, "Yeah, it is a bit too violent, like."
Well, there are several faces from the boxing world that we saw. Your long-term friend, Claressa Shields. Now, I think everyone's seen the clip of you two after the event, just chatting away. I guess because of the rivalry, people might presume that not it's violence on site, but that you can't bear to be around each other. But you just had like an open, very frank discussion, kind of a bit of a chat about something that you two have jumped into that isn't your main discipline. And I don't know, I think it was quite wholesome in many ways. But obviously, I know that you two want to get in the cage at some point and tear the shit out of each other. So
Nah, there's still a needle under there. Like I'd said to her, what did she say to me? Something like, "Oh," like she was like all in tongue in cheek, but in down underneath, I'm thinking, "Oh God." So she'd said like, "Oh, well done, but I'd done it a lot better." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what did you think of me getting up off the floor?" And she was like, "Yeah, you done well." I'm thinking, well, because you haven't accumulated that skill yet, because you just lay there starfish for 4 minutes. There's still like little digs, little sly digs. But
yeah,
but she's the whole reason why I've crossed over. I want to get that rematch. And hopefully I'll get it soon.
Yeah, well, she's heading back into boxing to challenge for the heavyweight world titles in July. Is that a move you ever saw coming for her?
It's quite a sad move, to be fair, I think. And it just goes to show the lack of opponents at the higher weights. And look, if it wasn't for PFL, I probably wouldn't have made that move myself. There's nobody there. Obviously, Franchon Cruz beat Shadisa Green. Shadisa would have been a good opponent. But obviously she's been beat off Franchon. I know that Claressa and Franchon are mates. I've beat Franchon, so it's like, well, where is the left to go? And look, she's been forced to go up at like, was it heavyweight? Heavyweight to fight an unknown opponent because there's no one else there.
I feel like I remember you being quite vocal, correct me if I'm wrong, about the heavyweight belt quite a few years ago, perhaps saying that it's kind of a tag that as a female fighter you don't want. But am I right in saying that? I feel like that was something that.
No, I wanted I wanted I wanted the female belt. I remember I was meant to fight for the WBO heavyweight title just before COVID. It's not a nice title being a
That's what I think
female
I
in
remember you
WBO
saying, yeah, in an
heavyweight,
interview saying that
but
it's not kind of, yeah,
it's not a nice title. But look, it's a title. And like I said, if there's no one else out there, why not go collecting?
yeah. So we won't rule you out of if Claressa is to win, you two doing the rematch in the boxing ring.
What, heavyweight?
Yeah.
Look, I'd love that rematch, whether it'll be in the ring or cage. We'll have to just see what happens.
Yeah. I mentioned your team earlier, obviously your boxing promoter, Ben Shalom was there. What has he said? Because you're a huge asset to him, a huge asset to Sky Sports, and now you're on DAZN and you're in the cage. I know he will support everything you do, but he must want you back. Him and Sky will want you back. So, like, what sort of stuff has he been saying?
It was really nice for Ben to go. Actually, I didn't realize he was coming, and he texted me on the day saying he was on his way up. So it was nice for him to come. Obviously, I think that like it's one of them. Like, who am I meant to box? And there's a couple of names out there, and it's all like, you know yourself, boxing's a business, and does it sell? Can it headline, that sort of thing? So it's not just as simple as I want to fight all these champions and see how I get on. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Savannah, I appreciate you giving me some of your time. Whatever it is next, if it's anywhere close to being as entertaining as Saturday, then everyone should be tuning in. Just one more thing, actually. After having the debut, going through camp, etc., difficult or not, do you think, to potentially juggle both disciplines, or is that something you've not thought about yet?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. I think that saying that, I think it's easier going from MMA to boxing, but going the other way. I think, like I said, I just see MMA as just getting in there and just having a full on scrap. Like, even in there, I felt like all the technique just went out the window, and it was just like survival mode.